After 5 days of Israel's relentless aerial bombing of Gaza, all eyes are now fixed on what is expected to be the biggest ever ground invasion of the Gaza Strip. With Israel's devastating might on display every day in a stream of non-stop videos of that aerial bombardment, it may seem like a ground invasion is not only the logical next step, but also fairly straightforward for a power that completely dwarfs anything that Hamas has. Well, I'm here to tell you that nothing could be further than the truth, and let me explain. For starters, airstrikes are actually easy here, since the Hamas has no credible advanced anti-aircraft weapons or air defense systems, allowing Israeli fighters to bomb Gaza completely unchallenged. But a ground invasion would require the Israeli Defense Forces to get up close with remnants of the Hamas and a Palestinian population galvanized, grieving the dead, and supercharged to spill blood. The Gaza Strip may seem small, but it isn't. It's 41 kilometers long, 12 kilometers wide at its widest part, and covers over 350 square kilometers of some of the most densely populated urban neighborhoods anywhere in the world. Now, Israeli operations in response to the attacks have followed a familiar pattern in the past. This time could be similar, though the scale of Israel's ground invasion could be vastly different. What we're witnessing now is the first phase, phase number one, where Israeli fighters, gunships, and missile boats are destroying Hamas terrorist and government infrastructure across the Gaza Strip. But the fact that Hamas rockets continue to be fired even on day 5 and 6 shows that the terror group has been able to mask its positions effectively from Israeli drones and jets and can still inflict damage despite being under such fearsome attack from Israel. Now, there's no question of whether Israel plans to invade the Gaza Strip. It's only now a question of when. A total blockade of food, fuel, and essentials means Israel is setting the stage to roll its tanks and infantry in. Now, that may sound easy too, but this is where the real challenge reveals itself, viewer. The Gaza Strip has both densely populated neighborhoods as well as stretches of empty farmland surrounding the cities. In past ground invasions, Israeli tanks and armored vehicles have easily made the journey into Gaza across from different entry points in the east and the north. But tall apartment buildings and structures in Gaza's big cities like Gaza City and Khan Yunis have always provided both hiding places as well as early warning to Hamas positions and Hamas terrorists. In the past, when Israeli ground forces have advanced into Gaza's dense cities, they've been effectively targeted with Hamas anti-tank mines, anti-tank guided missiles, as well as rocket-propelled grenades, which they have in large numbers. In the last 5 years, Hamas is understood to have stockpiled even bigger quantities and better quality anti-tank weapons. A newer weapon in Hamas's hands, used as you saw very effectively during the October 7th attack, is grenade-dropping drones. Now, this could pose one of the most deadly threats to Israeli ground forces, since they are difficult to spot, easy to deploy from literally anywhere, and are low cost, so Hamas likely has them in large numbers. Such drones could be used to drop grenades or explosives on tanks, vehicles, columns of troops, ambulances, anything. Apart from equipment, the Israeli Defense Force would also, remember, be going up against a terror group that has trained for years in hardened urban combat. It has wargamed such an invasion for years, and despite Israel's own human intelligence and technology, cannot match Hamas's familiarity with its own neighborhoods, its escape routes, and the network of tunnels believed to be in several locations, allowing Hamas terrorists to dodge attacks and escape to vantage positions to mount another attack on the Israelis. With the world watching, Israel cannot just blast its way through Gaza, as many people imagine, given how heavily populated it is. Therefore, the likelihood of both military casualties as well as possibly hostages becomes extremely high. It's a very, very narrow tightrope that Israel will be walking. Israel's leaders have all spoken in one voice as far as Gaza is concerned, saying it will take 50 years to recover. Things will never be the same again. This is the end of Gaza as we know it. But even if Israel manages to complete a full invasion like it has done on 2 occasions in the past, in 2009 and 2014, and manages to exert direct control over the entire Gaza Strip, is that a successful end game for Israel? Or would that only compound its problems in terms of having to now administer a strip of land where the threat of reprisals and insurgency multiplies manifold? Most experts agree that this ground invasion that's about to happen is with the sole purpose of obliterating Hamas, destroying all of its assets, killing all its members, and ensuring it can never again rise from the dead. But as has been the case in the past, not only have the remnants of Hamas survived fearsome attacks, their leadership sits abroad, protected in countries like Qatar, Iran, and Turkey. And the deaths of innocent Palestinians in the Gaza Strip provides the Hamas organization a grieving, fertile field from which to recruit its next crop of terrorist foot soldiers, drivers, bomb makers, drone pilots, and spies. Israel knows all of this already, and so does Hamas. So the only question left to ask is, was the October 7th attack on Israel big enough to force a change in pattern? Will whatever comes next be so big, so different, so relentless that the cycle is broken once and for all? In the blood of thousands of Israelis and Palestinians lies the answer.